Engine covers, do you guys believe a car will cool down faster without the engine cover and heat shield while driving?
Hmm.
It depends. I mean, engine covers obviously insulate the heat in the engine. That's actually not always a bad thing, especially from the factory. They like that. The longer your engine stays warm, the less fuel enrichment is needed when it starts, and the more faster your engine cools down, the more emissions and combustion byproducts are released. So keeping the engine warm is not necessarily a bad thing. Engine temperature is regulated through the cooling system, not from the air that flows over it.
Yeah, your convection or your whatever your radiated engine temperatures from the surface area on the top of the motor is going to be very
It's
minimal
tiny.
compared to the
It
rest
could
of
be
the
like
system.
1% of the cooling or
If
less.
even like,
You could even, you know, put the engine inside a huge styrofoam box filled with insulation, and you could still regulate the temperature of the engine through the cooling system. So keep in mind the inside of the engine is filled with coolant, and that coolant sheds heat through the radiators on the car. So I wouldn't worry too much about the covers. Now, the covers do other things. They absorb sound from the engine. They insulate heat to keep from melting or burning other things in the engine compartment. So, in general, you're going to want to leave those in place. In a race car, whole different story. But anything, in a street car, I would encourage anyone to keep those in place. Unless they know for sure that there's a benefit to removing it. Yeah, for example, in the B9 3.0T, those covers keep the turbo kind of shielded. So if you pressurize your crankcase through a PCV failure and your oil cap pops off, that oil just sprays right onto the turbocharger and can catch fire.
it's also part of a secondary heat shielding too. There's a bunch of thermal barrier there as well,
Yeah,
to keep the hood from getting cooked
there it is. Yeah,
and stuff
well,
above.
that's what I was saying. Other components like the hood.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd keep it all on a B9, especially keep
Mhm.
all those covers in place as long as you can.